You guys are gonna have to bear with me. Hopefully, Bobby can kind of shoulder the load here because I got off to a really, really late start. I had some stuff going on, and I quite literally am just starting. So I have to do a couple of things. I have to update my projections, and I have to and then I have to build. So hopefully Bobby can kind of talk us through. I don't even know what the news is that has come out in the last couple of hours. Hopefully the projections will kind of help me with that. Does anybody want to summarize any late news before I find out myself? We're going to do all three sports. We're going to do hopefully the NBA, the NHL, and the football, hopefully within the hour, but we shall see. Okay. And the smallest of the slates is the NHL. That's only 6. Actually, the smallest is the obviously the football slate. My partner Jack is actually at the game in Indianapolis, which is interesting. Oh, there was Bobby. I need him here. He's my savior today. You're not. I gotta. If I invite you there, there you are.
I'm here.
Yeah, you gotta help me. I got involved in a lot of stuff after, and I'm just literally starting to update all the projections. I don't even know what news has come out in the last like.
So Rozier just got announced out.
How long ago?
Like 3 minutes.
Oh, so I'm not even gonna have that.
Probably not, but it's going to be a mad scramble because Charlotte is just so short on bodies tonight. They've got 9 guys.
Okay, so
and Maladon is going to be like the automatic play for most people, but it's going to make Book Night a play also. Basically, everybody who's dressing for Charlotte, you could argue, is a play, but they're also probably going to get smashed. And I imagine the Celtics are going to sit Jaylen Brown on the back-to-back. I imagine that Brogdon might sit on the back-to-back. Horford is out already, so Blake Griffin is supposed to start, but Grant Williams will get a lot of those minutes. So that whole game has a lot more interest than we initially had, and it's going to take a starting lineup till we really know, but I do think you're going to see those guys start to pop.
That's good, but from my perspective, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait a few minutes before even attempting to update the projections because we have to wait on what Charlotte's going to do, probably who they're going to start, and then probably we're going to wait on when is the Celtic game? Is that the same? That's the same game.
Celtic game 7:30.
Oh, so all that's 7:30.
Yeah, so got a little time there.
We do have a little time there, but we have to make some choices, right?
Yeah, because they're like, okay, so there's other plays that are like Jaylen Nowell being projected where he's projected. The reason why I can get behind it a little bit is because of the back-to-back and the 3rd and 4 nights with this, and they've got they're already down, their normal shooting guard, the Austin Rivers. Are they going to play him off an injury in a 3 out of 4 nights? He played 28 minutes last night against Golden State. So I can see Nowell getting minutes in a number of ways. And he's the other guy in the early game that you kind of have to decide on. There is a part of me that's very tempted, and I'll just be completely honest. What I did is I built a lineup with Maladon, Devontae Graham, and Jaylen Nowell, one of my big ones right now, as the triple spend down at guard. Probably reaching a little bit, but we're all acting like Alvarado is this lock play, and I obviously like Alvarado, but that's a later game, Devontae Graham. But Jaylen Nowell, Devontae Graham, and Devontae Graham is not projecting the way that I feel like he should be projecting. His minutes definitely, you can see them in flux, but the 2 other games without McCollum, he played 22 and 27 minutes, and he put up 35 and 32 fantasy points. He's 3,600, and he's the guy on New Orleans no one's talking about. So I sort of like all of those guards in the same range, except for Maladon is clearly going to be the obvious play from that group.
But Maladon's on Charlotte, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I wasn't trying to get to Tatum, but without Brown, because he's probably going to have some ownership without Brown. And also I'm worried about the game. Like we talk about game script issues, is a real thing. For those of you who played the Dolphins stack yesterday, you understand that. You get 2.5 quarters out of your guys. It's a lot harder to win. But I do think Tatum, with a little Maladon, and maybe you fire someone else in from Charlotte. I don't know who that would be. PJ Washington, if you think the game stays close, I think is interesting. But I'm worried about these, that they're playing on the back-to-back. You're going to see some book night. You're going to see Nick Richards. You're going to see, and Nick Richards is an incredible point per minute guy. So he's a little bit appealing to me at 3,800. So it's really, what do you think that happens in this game? And I hate to, as much as I hate to say it, I think Jalen McDaniels is a much better play now than he was before. What worries me, again, back-to-back, probably one of the first guys off the, he's not on the back-to-back. But he probably would be one of the first guys off the court in a blowout. I'm sorry, I got mixed up with games for a minute. Charlotte.
That's what I was asking. I wasn't sure what you were exactly.
Yeah, sure. It was my fault. Charlotte did not play yesterday. I totally got mixed up on that. I'm very confused why. I'm just shocked Rozier is even letting them not play him.
And what is he? Because he's hurt? I mean,
I guess. I don't know.
Oh, they didn't say was it personal or no? Okay, I was just wondering.
He has an illness.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how real. I don't know what's happening these days. They always say that for guys. I'm gonna say good evening to K9 and good evening to Kobe.
Jaylen Brown is out. Okay.
Figured that was gonna happen. Keep waiting on it because the Celtics might announce some more bodies out too. They already announced Horford out too. Are they going to play Brogdon on this back-to-back where they really don't need to? The one thing he's got going for him, and playing a 3 out of 4 after a career full of injuries, and he's only been back for a couple weeks now or 10 days, feels like maybe Brogdon gets ruled out also. Sam Hauser, we'll see. Well, I want to take a look at projections, what they've got. My guess is in any minute now, you're going to see Maladon as the best point per dollar play on the slate.
Do they have to announce him starting, or we just presume he's going to be starting?
I actually don't think it matters. They only have 2 guards, so it's either he or book night.
Right.
They're not going to, they're not going to, do that. So the Mo Wagner thing, if Bamba's out and Mo Wagner's starting, I definitely think he's worth getting some exposure to. But there's no reason why it wouldn't be Admiral Schofield instead of Mo Wagner who gets the minutes. In fact, Admiral Schofield is, he can get more minutes. So you're not playing Mo Wagner if Bamba's in. Even if he might get some run off the bench, even if he gets there, I am not playing a 4,400 Mo Wagner. There's just no way in the world you're ever going to get me to do that. If everybody else is in for Orlando, I think he's only in play for me if Bamba is out. Now, could he get there anyway and something happens? Sure. He's a good fantasy producer. It's a good matchup and all that stuff, but you don't even know that it's going to be, even without Bamba, I don't even know that it's going to be him. And how do you compare that value to this other value that we're going to have? Maladon is now looking, they've got him at, Sabersim has got him Maladon at like 8.5x tonight.
Okay.
And I'm going to take a quick look at Charlotte because that is one of the earlier games. And yeah, you got he and McDaniels look like they project well. PJ Washington projects pretty well, but one of these Nick Richards or they don't even have book night projected accurately. My guess is they need to do more updating because if they really do only have 9 bodies, you should be probably playing one of Maladon or book night just because they don't have, I'm literally like Kelly Oubre is the only other guard they have. And again, would be the first guy off the court if the game is not close or along with McDaniels. McDaniels, Washington, Plumlee would all just get benched, and they would probably just bring in the 4 men off the bench, play with Maladon. That's my guess. Kevin, so the most exposure thing is a really tough question to answer at this moment because everything just completely changed as we got on air. So, I mean, I had 40% Rozier in my lineup, so already I'm going to have to make that change. But Maladon is going to be the most obvious play and the best projected play. And I think that it makes perfect sense to play him because I think he gets the blowout run as well, unless they have another body that we don't know about that they're going to be able to play. Yeah. So I just have to accept this. Okay. Let's see. So Maladon is going to be the answer for me, even though right now he's in one of my lineups only. So it's obviously going to change.
Yeah, that's a tough. And what about all that New Orleans value?
Yeah, all the New Orleans guys. We still don't know about Larry Nance playing or not. That's pretty big. If Larry Nance is out, I think Joe Val is just going to crush. If Larry Nance is in, I like mixing up Larry Nance and Joe Val in different lineups. And obviously, you're playing Zion. I think the projections are wrong projecting his ownership. And if I have to play both, if I'm going to play some Joe Val, though, I'll do it in the lineups where I'm going to fade Zion. That's what I'm doing. Yeah, K9, I do like Joe Val at 5,500, but it depends on whether Larry Nance is in or not. So tough question right now. But even if Larry Nance is in, I still think Joe Val has a path to getting there. They do like to play small, but it's also like, is it going to be one of those games where Joe Val literally puts up like 25 in the first quarter? It very well could be. It's a really, really good spot for him, and they just don't have anybody who has the size to match up with him.
Right.
But we've seen him go small in these spots before. And the one thing about the Pelicans is that I think they have like 17 bodies they can play. Like they have a lot of bodies. So it's who's going to get the usage. That's why I'm a little bit more skeptical. Like if you think about it, Jose Alvarado hasn't had a game. And I understand that mostly these guys are played. Hasn't scored more than 27 fantasy points in a game. Devontae Graham just scored 2 out of the last 3. He scored 32 and 35. Why are we assuming that Devontae Graham is a worse play than Alvarado at a cheaper price? I'm not assuming that, so I'm going to play some Devontae Graham.
Yeah.
And no, I would not play LeBron and Davis together. I think that would be the only reason you would do that is if you're trying to wait on late news or something like that. I would just rather jump over to Jokic. And I'm less high on Anthony Davis than I was earlier because the center spot, like I said, I do think center or guard is what you're using in your utility, but Joe Val or Nance are now in like most of my center builds. And I think that if Embiid plays, which no one's really talking that much about, I think Embiid is I mean, he's 10-8, you know what I mean? Like I'll play Embiid. We know he can get 100. He just did it. So,
wait, so he's in, you're saying?
If he's in, he's more likely to play. I mean, I looked at a few different starting lineup sites, and he wasn't in them earlier in the day, and now he is, but it's still not a guarantee at all. To answer MJ's question about Booker, and I think Sheets will have the same one. I think I like Booker, and I think Sheets likes Booker. I'm not getting to much Booker, but I do like him. Booker and Halliburton is an interesting conversation between the two of them. I think they're both in tremendous spots. And I don't think that Halliburton's getting much ownership. And I honestly don't think Booker's going to get much ownership. So I like them both. I have right now, I have Halliburton rated a little higher, but I have like I said, playing one of the Suns in these spots are always seem like a pretty good idea because they all project for whatever their median is. So they never project well enough, but one of them always hits a huge number. Like DeAndre Ayton just put up 62 and 50. In back-to-back games. Before that, Booker put up 78. Before that campaign, put up 47. All of these guys have tremendous ceilings in this kind of a matchup. So I'm all for playing Booker. I just have to rate Halliburton a little bit higher at the moment. LeBron is a worse play to me than AD. I don't have any LeBron at the moment. I might have thrown him in a lineup just to fill a spot. LeBron's fine. The problem I have with LeBron is that he's got less of a ceiling than these guys do, the other guys around him. And he's, to be honest, he's pretty shooting reliant right now. Like,
right.
The game goes off. It's when he's making all of his threes. Like, and now don't forget, Anthony Davis didn't play in the last game. So with Anthony Davis on the court this year, LeBron's averaging, I think, somewhere in like the high 40s in fantasy points. That's just not nearly enough. So AD would clearly be the answer. At least AD has games when LeBron plays. Even the other night, I actually thought he played really well. When he only put up 57 AD, but there's room to go up on that one.
Yeah.
All right, other guys that we are playing here tonight. So I love some sneaky. So Shake Milton is going to be mostly out of play if Embiid plays for me, and unfortunately, he was like one of my favorite plays early in the day. I really like Josh Giddey. I like DeMar DeRozan. I like Zach Levine. I like Jamal Murray. I like Halliburton. Those are the other guys who are not on New Orleans and not the obvious value that I'm playing a lot of. I'm also getting to some towns just because I have a lot of money to spend in certain lineups, and I think this is a good matchup for Towns. Towns has the 60+ ceiling, and he's 9,100. I'll take the shots with Towns tonight. So he's the other one I like. Oh, and Evan Mobley's another one. Good point out there, Kevin. I do like Evan Mobley as well. Definitely not LeBron and Davis. We see that LeVert is in, which does give more like there was a lot of speculation about LeVert playing today, and with him in officially, I still think Cedi Osman is still in play, but it's probably reaching a little bit more. But if LeVert was out, I was gonna go for. I mean, Cleveland only has 10 bodies tonight in Toronto. Now there's no Kevin Love, there's no Jared Allen, and Osman and Dean Wade are both gonna get plenty of looks at it, plenty of run, and they might do something weird like start Robin Lopez again and then play him 3 minutes like they did last time. That's always frustrating. So I wouldn't fall for that trap. That's one thing to keep an eye out for. All right, let's see what else we got here. Jesse's got a question here that I actually did build with some Hampton early on, but now it's like, what are you doing playing Hampton? Because you're not playing him. So you're playing him over Maladon. I can't quite talk myself into that. Hampton is a worse version to me of the Devontae Graham play, but I do think that it's really it's just making less and less sense for me to play him.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. Let me turn my little heater off.
Stone here.
Any Jalen Williams? That's just a flyer random play you could play at any point. I don't see any reason to like try to play Jalen Williams except for trying to get exposure to that game because you're playing New Orleans. It's just you're just shooting a dart at a wall. There's nothing that stands out about anything about Jalen Williams tonight. His minutes are all over the place as they are basically in general with OKC. It's on a big slate. The answer is always the same. There's only 3 guys on their team who are guaranteed to play minutes. And there's really 2 that they're going to focus on letting handle the ball and stuff. And that's Shea and Giddey. So those are the only ones I actually feel comfortable with. I'd rather take a speculative look on a guy like Robinson Earl if New Orleans stays big. So like if that's what also throwing me off is like if I want to play that weird play like Robinson Earl because of he might have to be on the court a lot because of the size of Vet Joval, then I have to use at both my center spots on those guys, and that just doesn't feel great either. So I think we don't need it's so much speculative value. Tatum for a run back on depending on who you're playing on Charlotte. We like Maladon, and Tatum with no Brown, Tatum's totally fine. But I think he's going to get more ownership, and you've got to be really, really aware that he's probably going to end up more times than not. I think in this spot, I think he plays 3 quarters. They do have a day off tomorrow. He did get a rest day yesterday. So Tatum is going to look like a good play, and I'm guessing he's going to be very, very popular. Let me just see if I'm right about that. I mean, like very popular, like being in the 20-something% owned. For a spend up, that's pretty popular, I think, today. Yeah. But he's in a great – and look, it's a good matchup. It's a bad team they're playing, and you have no Jaylen Brown and no Horford in there. And potentially, as I've alluded to, I think there's an outside chance you might see no Brogdon in there as well. So keep that in mind. I don't know what the hell they did this to Grant Williams price for. Why did they make him 5,500? Like I still can't figure out how that happened. Who else? Derek White also 3 and 4 nights. They could sit any of these guys. They simply don't need them, and they've all played a bunch except for Tatum. Yeah, so I think we're still. I don't know if we've heard the rest of the last from Boston yet. And if you're going to make that weird bench player play for a value, I think that Hauser is probably one of the better ones you could choose. Just because you play the blowout angle, you could play Hauser, Maladon, and like Nick Richards, who's 3,800, who I'm probably going to get into some lineups now.
Right.
Yeah. So just talking through all the things I'm doing. Nance is out officially. Okay, so that means no more Nance for me. And I'm going to have to go in 10 minutes because I'm going to have to rebuild like all my lineups. So that makes Joval a much better play. Trey Murphy was already a good play. He's still a very good play. I'm confused. Are you getting to like, I think that SaberSim has Schroeder projected a lot better than anybody else does.
I'm like way behind. I'm not even at NBA yet. I'm telling you.
Okay. No, I'm just confused by it a little bit. Okay, see. I would not play Blake Griffin for what it's worth. Whether he's
No,
starting.
I don't think you need to play Blake Griffin.
Yeah, he's 3K, and even if he starts, I don't think I want to play him. I think I'd rather play Book Knight or one of those guys. All right. And Najee's ruled out too. Boy.
Who'd you say was ruled out?
Najee Marshall. He plays minutes for them, so
yeah,
it's gonna be. I think that I sort of thought he was gonna be already, but with Nance out, like I think you're gonna just see these guys pop even more. Trey Murphy, who has like there's variations where Murphy never gets there, and there's also he could get at 50. Like he's got both sides to him. But Dyson Daniels is probably back in play, who is sort of looking on the outs. And man, if nobody's going to play Devontae Graham, I'm just telling you guys,
has he done anything this year?
He just 2 out of his last 3 games, he's put up 32 and 35 fantasy points.
Okay.
And now you added Brandon Ingram out on top of it, along with Najee and Nance, so it's just even more. So Herb Jones, the problem with Herb Jones, Kobe, is that like it really it changes his usage by like 2% with these guys off the court. This is not a guy you're running. If you've ever watched them play, you would say, oh, it doesn't really matter for Herb Jones. But at the same time, he makes sense in a game stack because he doesn't need to have the usage to get there. So the answer is, who was it between who and him? Murphy clearly is the upside play and the obvious play, but Herb Jones will have lower ownership. I'm much more on the Murphy side, but I certainly don't mind if you want to make Herb Jones part of a game stack. Same goes for Dyson Daniels.
So you still think there's going to be more news coming out of Boston, though?
I think it's definitely possible. Like, it is weird that they didn't say it yet, but I mean, we've got Derek White, chronically injured player, chronically injured Malcolm Brogdon, who's probably like the most injured player, and he's playing. This is a 3 out of 4 for Boston, and it just feels odd to me that they would let him go. And then you also have Marcus Smart, who could easily sit. It's not like they don't have other guys they can play. By the end of the, I guess that's just maybe that's more of a reason why we skip more of the first games.
And what's the logic behind why they'd be just sitting all these people?
Third game in 4 nights. Like you don't mess around with that when you're going to win the game easily anyway.
I mean,
what's that?
No, I figured they're at home. Maybe they don't completely throw out like minor league players.
They just did yesterday. I mean, they just took Tatum out, but they don't have minor league players. That's the thing. They're like really one of the deepest teams in the league, and like guys like Hauser's a good player. So is Peyton Pritchard. They don't have to like just sacrifice everything. You know what I mean? But I do agree in general. The home thing is a big deal for that. Pelicans, I'm playing 2 or 3 in most lineups. I think 3 is okay. I think once you get to 4, you're probably limiting a little bit of your upside, but I think you can play 4 if you're running back with Shea or with Giddey. You just better get the right 4. And I think it's easier to speculate on them than it is to lock them in or anything. But, I think you can play Graham and Alvarado together, but I would prefer not to unless they're both starting, which I don't think would be the case. I would prefer one of Murphy or Herb Jones, but I like Murphy better. I would prefer one of Zion or Joval, but they can certainly both get there, especially with Nance now out. Just remember they have other guys who will soak up some of those minutes. Like Jackson Hayes will get minutes tonight. You know what I mean? Garrett Temple, who's like currently projected to play like 9 minutes, is probably gonna there's like a world where he ends up like the first guy off the bench and plays like 30. They have a lot of bodies. Kira Lewis hasn't played in forever. Actually, I don't even know if he's available right now.
Wow, that's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
I'm not talking about playing him. I'm just sort of saying.
No, in general, I mean.
Yeah. Just that they have a lot of guys that are listed in the as possibilities. So I think the right answer is the sweet spot is probably 3. I think you can get away with 2, and I think 4 gets to be reaching a little bit. But I like the 2 or 3 idea, and I like the 3 with Giddey on the other side or Shea, as you builds a nice little stack and leaves you plenty of money.
Of course, the only thing is we have to remember that we can't allow Garrett Temple to take the ball side out of bounds at the end of the game.
Oh God. Well, as long as he's not facing his former team where he just passes the ball to the guy.
That's the only thing. You can't.
It's none of that 250K nonsense.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Maladon is like, look, Devontae Graham is my play. I want to make that very clear. We have no right to complain if it's what the hell happened to Devontae Graham? He only had 10 fantasy points. This is a speculative play. I'm making this really clear. I've got him currently in 35% of my lineups, but I'm not saying you need to play Devontae Graham. You really don't. But playing him and Maladon together, of course, you can do that because, then you're saving all the money. And you could throw
what Bobby is saying is he's locking in Devontae Graham. You should all play him 100% of your lineups and fully blame him if he loses. All right, I just got to get all this written down.
I just want to make sure we know what kind of play it is. You know what I mean? like Zion is the obvious. You know what I mean? I don't think Joe Val's speculative anymore. I think Joe Val is like just a really good play. But and Maladon is a good play. I don't care what happens. If you ran this 100 times, Maladon's not getting there like maybe 10 of those times at most. Like he's going to put up 20 fantasy points.
All right. So I'm just actually finally running my first build here with whatever news there is now. You know what I mean? Or not even within the last 5 minutes. So let me just see what I'd be getting. I imagine 100% Maladon. Let's see.
Maybe not 100, but close probably.
Yeah, 100. 100 of him, 95 of Alvarado, 90 of Zion. And then we're dropping the guys that might not be playing. Like my next highest owned guy would be Tatum. So
yeah, see now Book Night is they finally did it. They've updated it. Book Night is the one who looks like now he's actually just right there with Maladon as point per dollar. So I'm playing one of Book Night or Maladon in all my big.
Oh, really? They updated Book Night just now?
Okay. Yeah, he's now projected for he's 3K flat because they don't have any other guards, man.
Right.
So I think Book Night or Maladon is going to be in basically almost all.
And what were you saying about Schroeder?
I just noticed that his projection seemed to be higher than it should be. And I just don't see how people are going to get to him with these other guys because I think his minutes are more in flux because you had the last two games that he did play 29 though, and then 30, but the 30 was without Anthony Davis. But still, he did play 29 before that. I mean, I think he's an interesting tournament play, but if he had any ownership at all, I would get off of it. But with nobody, I don't think anybody's going to play him now, and I think he's kind of interesting.
And do we even know about Embiid?
No.
We don't. Okay, I'm just checking.
Yeah, no, you got it. It's a good question. We just don't have it.
And is that 7:00?
That's the first game. Yeah.
Lovely. Okay.
We'll have it. We'll have it at some point.
At 6:59. I'm sure it'll become.
It'll pop in. No, it'll pop in that he's in, and then it'll at 10 till, and then it'll announce that he's
or whatever. Was Doc Rivers say? We're gonna. Embiid says he will attempt to give it a go, perhaps. It's
yeah, great. I know that's such a Doc Rivers type of thing too. People asking about Paul Reed for tournaments. If there's no Embiid, absolutely, you can always take shots. I probably am not going to have any of them, but I totally understand it. He definitely can get there. Let's see what else.
Book Night. That is not. We want. I think we should deserve some kind of credit for Book Night. I don't know exactly what for, but we were talking about Book Night a long time ago.
Yeah,
we needed the whole team to get ruled out before he became playable. So I don't know.
This guy had 4 DUIs in the offseason, one of which was and he's in his second year, and his whole thing is the history of trouble. But this guy, when you watch him play, he looks like he could be a stud someday. He really is. He's active. He's talented, and he's gonna probably have to play minutes tonight.
And what do you? Okay, do you talk about FanDuel at all?
I'm not playing on FanDuel, but I did talk about it. I answered a couple questions. Most things are pretty similar for me between FanDuel and DraftKings. I just don't think you need the value as much on FanDuel, but you still want to play some of it. I'm probably going to get out of here in just a minute if that's okay with you.
I'm good. Do you have any comments on football or anything, or not really?
Oh, I would. Yeah. So the football, I think it's a really terrible game, but kind of a fun DFS slate. I'm
going to be just so you know before you go. I'm going to be here for a while. So
okay.
So go ahead.
I think that I like the kickers and the defenses.
Oh, one of these. Okay.
I don't like either of the quarterbacks that much, but I like Pickett better than I like Matt Ryan. And I like Steve Sims Jr. as the spend down, and Najee and Jonathan Taylor will probably both be in most of my lineups. Interesting differences between teams. Like you can you can run on Indy and you can pass on Pittsburgh. So it kind of makes for a fun little slate that way.
Yeah, we're both getting to the same cheapo, by the way, the Steven Sims.
Yeah. Nick Richards is a better play. To answer Jimmy's question here is about Kai Jones. I think Nick Richards is a better play because he gets more. He tends to play more. He's more productive per minute. Kai Jones probably gets more minutes, but Nick Richards probably has a much higher ceiling than Kai Jones. But both of them are in play. Done by. I hope that isn't Embiid is in. So there we go.
Embiid is in.
I can't update anything because I just went through all my plays for 30 minutes, so I can't give a whole sum up on everything. I've got to go edit my lineups because literally most of my lineups right now have players who are not playing tonight. So it's one thing I find that's really important is you need to do that. You need to play the guys who play.
Yeah, usually. Sometimes I wish that the guys that I played didn't play. So I don't know. We'll see.
Cheers for that, Dunbar, by the way.
Let me see the book night projections here, how they're. I'm not seeing him that much. I'm seeing him only getting like 17 fantasy points. No? I thought SaberSim. I don't know.
SaberSim's got him at 22.
Really? I have him in DraftKings book night right now at 17. So what do I know?
They just change it again? They've been bouncing around, but
yeah, I think so.
When I refreshed after they had him at 17, they went to 22. Now I'm going to try again, see what it says. Yeah, they did drop him back down. Well, I like him better now. I like him better now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know who's getting up there? No, nobody.
Boy, they really love Jaylen Noel tonight.
Yeah. Yes, they do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it. There's one more. You can go if you want. I mean, I'm here. I'm here for a while, so people could ask me questions.
All right, buddy. Well, good luck to you tonight. Good luck to everybody, and I'll be in Discord and I'll try to answer whatever I can after I edit my lineups. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. So I'm gonna keep the chat here open here on the left, and you guys can ask whatever questions. I'm gonna just continue to update these projections. I'm gonna talk about what I'm doing in hockey as well, and football, because one of the things I did, I've been doing some staking stuff and trying to just kind of make that experience a little bit better for everybody in general. It's one of my unfinished businesses or whatever is that. So I told people if they wanted to come over here and I would go over what I was doing in these sports. So in hockey, the majority of my exposure is going to be to the Vegas line. I'm going to have Edmonton and some Buffalo as well, but I did settle on Vegas as my main idea. Yeah. And I am going to update the football stuff along the way. So you're saying, yeah, you can rewind. That's probably a pretty decent idea, actually. And then come back because I am going to update all the new projections. What about Griffin if no Hunter? You mean AJ Griffin, right? Yeah, I mean, I hate to be like this, but I'm just going to have to rerun the projections and see. I mean, it seems to be a play I wouldn't want to make only because it's early. I mean, I like to when it's kind of close between different. I'll get there, K9. I kind of like to defer to the later games a little bit better if things are close. So AJ Griffin's probably going to fall by the wayside for me. With respect to FanDuel, I'm still getting 100% Maladon, and then who I'm getting just a whole ton of actually is Jonas Valanciunas at center. That's, I mean, more of him than I've had of him in a long time. And 5,500 is just really, really cheap. So that's not going to be any surprise, I guess. And then, I got Tatum, and Bobby really thinks there's a chance he doesn't play. So I got to keep an eye on that. I'm looking at a questionable tag on Larry Markkinen, and I presume he's playing, but I don't know. We have to go check that. And yeah, I'm getting a bunch of Bruce Brown as well. Now that you mention it, yeah. But I once again, I am going to just rerun. I'll rerun them a couple of times. Let me take a look at before. I'm going to do one. When should I do it? I'll do it right now, actually. So what I'll do is I'll talk as I I'll keep the chat box open as I talk through this stuff. Yeah, it's a crazy bunch of value there, and I still like the idea of playing these New Orleans guys with Shea. Just a very, very pure type GPP build. You know, you play the value on New Orleans with the other side that doesn't have a great value. You know, like the Shea does not, you know, project all that great for 10-5. So maybe he'll be a little bit lower owned. What am I doing? Yeah, thanks, thanks, Classic Man. I know the print is brutal. They hear it from here. Yeah, it's a nasty one. Who's calling me?
No information. 422-6400. I got it.
No. Yeah, I've been petitioning to get all printers removed from this house, but hasn't exactly worked out too well. Between the printer and the landline, those are the those are the projects. Get them the hell out of here. A lot. Yeah, at least not a dot matrix printer, one of those. Right, so I'm actually just going through this. I wonder if we're going to get some weird starting lineups to come in and make us have to redo all this again. Did anybody follow what happened with the World Cup today? There was like a phantom goal or something like that. Like they gave it to Ronaldo first, and then like after people got paid, then they switched it or something. I forget what it was. Something happened where they gave Ronaldo a goal and then they took it away because he didn't actually whatever. And then like some people paid it and some people didn't. I have no idea. I mean, I was long dead in my lineups when that happened. The guy in the first game almost didn't score. The guy that just got it with a little tip of his hair. The guy that got 2 goals for Ghana. That was a crazy game. By the way, I will say to everybody, I'm 3 for 3 in my World Cup bets. Me being the World Cup expert that I am. What did I have? I actually, boy, this was quite a lucky result. Hold on, what am I doing here? Yahoo 2. Yeah, it was quite a lucky result. After Ghana scored early, when it was 1-0, I was only had to lay like $1.40 on them, which seemed weird. So I just did it. And then I felt like such a genius. They went up 2-0. And then next thing you know, it was a war. had they tied it too, and then they ended up winning. But boy, oh boy, that was rough. Almost. So I'm now officially 3 for 3 in hockey in World Cup. When Paris was down 1-0, I bet on them to win their first game, and then I bet on Ghana today. Then there was another one from like yesterday, I think. I forget who it was, but it was another one that there was like a really like a -135 or something like that. Oh, Poland. I had Poland yesterday. What do you think, Lakers? Because they both suck. Yeah, sounds good to me. Yeah, it sounds reasonable. So I'm almost done with these last. This will be the last projection run before the 7 p.m. games, I believe. And then I'll do football. We could talk football a little bit. I'm here actually. Any love for the Rockets versus? You mean like in fantasy or just as a play? I'm not really. I don't think I'm really getting much of the Rockets at all for myself. One second. This. Okay. This will be the last projection run. Then I will re-give all of my takes for, I guess, at least the early NBA. I mean, again, I'm going to be around, so I'll be able to update. Mrs. Sheets has a big steel cage match tonight in Canasta, so I'll be here being able to update all this stuff. Those of you who are following the big Mahjong Texas steel cage match this weekend. It's a lot of scandal. First game we all played defense, and then it was a draw. And then the second game, I could have sworn I had Mahjong. I called Mahjong illegally, so I was disqualified. And then my daughter won. Okay, so let me see. Oh wait, what happened? Oh, I forgot to do that. Sneaky. Okay, we'll do. We're not playing Yahoo today, but I did do the sheets. But let me just update what I have here. Right, first of all, DraftKings. Who is the best play? And then we're going to run lineups and see who the best lineup is. So it is Theo Maledon, and then a whole bunch of spend ups. And then Alvarado, Valanciunas, Kyrie Irving looks like a good play. Anthony Davis at 8% ownership. Boy, oh boy, huh? Well. Well, let me first update. Let me just put the projections up on the site. I'm just going to build some lineups and see what I come up with. You have to stack it. You just want to play the. Yeah, that would not be my preferred idea, since you asked. So Theo Maledon and Book Knight look like the two best values. Well, for Charlotte, right? And then you could play Alvarado, Trey Murphy. Valanciunas looks like such a good play. All right, so let's build. As a matter of fact, let's share my screen. We'll build right on the spot. How about that? All right, so we're going to build first DraftKings. and see what we get. We're going to be playing 40 lineups in MMA. So we'll build those first. Larry Nance Jr. is out. I didn't have that. Why would I have that? I presume I'm going to get 100% Theo. McGowan's, I don't even know what that means. So Theo, and then I'll drop down to Alvarado, Valanciunas, Williams, Lokes, all this stuff. Noel, McDaniels, Brown, Herb Jones, Book Knight, Embiid. I don't think I even have him projected. McGowan's. That's up. You know, that doesn't mean he's a bad play. I just don't have him. Maybe no one's taking a look at him. Marcus Smart. That's an interesting, weird play to have. Okay. So I'm going to put these in my MMEs. And as I suspected, Theo Maledon is going to be 100%. But bless you. The big ones I want to kind of screw around with a little bit. I don't want to make those full on, you know, I was going to say, I don't want to make those full on 150 max builds. I want to make those more conservative. So what I'm going to do is rebuild, but this is something I'll do sometimes. So I'll do another build for, say, just 4 lineups, but instead of doing 150 max, I'll do, like, say, 20 max builds. We'll build 30, but we'll only use 4. And this is what actually you're really supposed to do. You're really supposed to tailor your builds for the types of contests you're in. So playing like the 888 or the 40 or the box out is different than playing the whatchamacallit. Oh, that's an interesting play. Anthony Edwards at low ownership. That's actually kind of interesting. Is you're supposed to play those a little bit different. Edwards, Maledon, Zion, Embiid, Alvarado. Yeah, that's probably a pretty good play. The second one or the third one. Yeah, I think the third one will do in that. That's actually a pretty strong idea. So the third one is going to be in the big one. Yeah, that's pretty good actually. Oh, perfect. Oh, I like this a lot actually. I'm very content with the approach here. I'm going to play these New Orleans dudes, and then I'm going to play Shea as a run back, which makes perfect sense to me. I just want to make sure that I have all those in the fadeaway just in case. I mean, technically, I'm not supposed to have them in the fadeaway and the other one, but we're going to do this. Let's edit the entries, and let's just make sure that I have every one of my lineups in the fadeaway. Just in case, I don't want to leave 100,000 on the table. Okay. Good. Now I'm going to do the same thing with FanDuel. So you're actually literally seeing what I'm doing in all my lineups. Just good and bad, I guess. Okay, very good. So now we'll do FanDuel. Same thing. We'll go into the FanDuel. And then we'll talk a little football after lock. Okay, so football. NBA FanDuel will update with the new projections. And we're playing 40 of the, okay, well, ignore these. 40 of the MME. We'll do that first. Larry Nance is out. Wait, what am I doing here? Now we're going to go, we're just going to go 40 lineups. In 150. Okay. Do I have time? Yeah, I got time, 9 minutes. Yeah, the other thing, by the way, regarding your Rockets idea, my Project Mayhem, I don't think in that situation you need to use 3 guys from Denver in that stack. You know, for that to get there, what you're going to need is for the Rockets guys to really do well, and you really only need 1 or if at most 2 of the Nuggets guys. I mean, I think it's really difficult for all 3 of those Denver guys to smash, and also have the Rockets guys, you know what I mean, like competitive enough to play all those minutes. I don't think that's really the idea. Okay, so same thing I did before. I did the 150 max builds. So we got all the Maladon as you know we discussed. And then we have to do is we have to go back because I would want to rebuild. Do I have to rebuild the slam as something else? Yeah, I really probably should. So let's do that. Let's really be a professional here. We're gonna build 3 lineups in 20 max. Actually, we'll build 20. Make sure there's no late news you guys are telling me about. No? Okay. And then we will use these 3. No, I just want to get just these 3 lineups. I'll put in this. Should be good. And we'll update that to FanDuel, and it's the same stuff. But look at all the. I'm getting Kyrie Irving is in my bigger buy-ins on FanDuel. I mean, 8,100 just kind of it's kind of criminal, right? If I want, I could be really. So I have 6 minutes, right? So I'm still going to answer a couple of questions. But let me just do one more quick NHL run here with the new lines. I have only 6 minutes. I probably don't have time to do it. No, those have all these games start right at 7 o'clock. Wow. Let's see if I can't update some of the hockeys as I'm doing this, actually. And then we will talk about football. Five minutes, huh? And we'll do one more update. This is really pushing my luck here. 6:55. All right, let's see. Let's see if we can get this done. This will be fun. Actually, we have to take this off for now, and then we'll come back when I actually do my builds. Hold on a minute. Gotta look at my time. 6:56. Ooh, it's not gonna make it. I don't think it's gonna make it. It's gonna be tight. We'll see. Right, what we have to do is we'll let one model come up short. No, we can do this. So we gotta be really, really precise. Oh, that's not good. One Excel error probably ruins the entire ecosystem. 6:56. Now we should be able to do this. Let's see. I've done this much slower than this before. So 6:56 right now. Okay. 67 now. Well, we're already at this point, so it's too late to turn back. And then we'll be able to breathe after this locks, and then we will talk. Then we'll talk football. Okay, 6:57 still plenty of time. Okay. We'll share this and then we'll do the hockey. 6:57. Oh, no problem. I think as long as my computer is on pace with the DraftKings thing. Let's take a look. Oh, 1 minute 56 seconds. All right, we shouldn't be a problem, I think. Oh, I don't think it's going to make it. I don't think it's going to make it. Oh, it's going to be really tight. Stacks. It's going to be tight. Uh-oh. Well, we're gonna let fate determine it. I don't know how much time is left. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Let's see. Did we get it or did we not get it? Let's see. 1 second. And got it. We got it by 5 seconds. All right, very good. Oh, we got it by 30 seconds. Plenty of time. Are you kidding me? That's excellent. That's good work by us. Now, with any luck, we actually win. Yeah, so we did a whole bunch of Edmonton at the end of the day. And we shall see. We got some money left on the table, which we could always fix a little bit later. But for now, we're going to live with this stuff. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to eat. I'm going to come back. I'll tell you what. I'm going to come back after I eat like 7:30, 7:45, and then I'll refire this up and I'll do football, and maybe there'll be some basketball updates after that happens. Okay. All right. For now, we are going to call this.